for part two of air. As a quick recap, air was aware, interrupt, and replace. Today we're going to learn how to actually replace that thought. And it's the method that I presently use right now, and it has helped me. It's called the triple F method. And it doesn't stand for, right? You may say that a lot going through the process, but that's not what it stands for. What it stands for is, and I should have came prepared, right? So let me just let me get this wipe out. We're going to give this a second to dry. What it stands for, the triple F process stands for fact, feelings, and focus. So what am I focusing on? That's the actual thought that I'm having. And then, what are the facts that back that thought up? And when I think about that thought, and I contemplate those facts, how's it making me feel? And that will determine if the thought is actually serving you or not. Then we flip that 180 degrees. So the I can't becomes I can. I don't becomes I do. Remember that from air? Once we flip it 180 degrees, we write that on the top of the paper, and we list the facts that prove that, and then how do those facts make me feel. So we're going to go through a real quick example here. We left off air with I can't do that. I tried it in the past and I failed. That's a common one I get. So you could do this anywhere. I'm actually going to set it up right here. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. I could physically do this just holding the sheet of paper, right? So I drew a T on my paper. I put my thought up here, I can't. And then I list the facts down this side, and then the feelings down this side. To make it a little bit easier for me to write, I'm going to use the whiteboard. We're going to go to the whiteboard. And I'm going to do the whiteboard so it's easier for me. But you could physically do that standing. That's how easy this process is. You can do it in your mind also. We're going to draw out T, right? Let me draw out T. I can't do it. I tried it in the past. It didn't work. On the left side of that T, this is going to be the facts. Right? So we're going to list out the facts. What are some of the facts that kind of prove the point that I can't? Right? Maybe I actually did it. I actually made the attempt. I attempted it. I failed at it. So I took action, I executed, and then I failed. I drove right into the brick wall and exploded. Like that happens sometimes. Maybe it has something to do with a physical object, right? Maybe I tried pouring, I don't know, boiling water into a glass and the glass broke. Maybe I have a physical object. I actually have the broken pieces. The broken pieces. Now, when I think about I can't do that, this is the focus up here, the thought. When I think about I can't do it, and I think about the facts that actually prove that I can't do it, right? That self-talk. We're talking about the self-talk. I'm thinking about taking on an endeavor. I can't do that. I tried that already. I failed at it. Remember? Like I physically have the broken pieces. And when I get to the example, I'm going to show you, when I show you what I did, I have the broken pieces right here to show you in a second. So what's the feelings that are conjured up when I think about this, right? When I'm thinking about this and I'm telling myself this story over here, How do I feel? Do I feel sad? Do I feel frustrated? Unhappy? Angry? What are the feelings that I'm feeling when I'm thinking about that? Now ask yourself, are any of these feelings benefiting me? Is there a benefit to being sad or frustrated, disappointed, unhappy? So we know that this thought isn't serving us. So now how do we get rid of that thought? Right? We replace it, right? We go back to air and we do the replacement of that thought. And when we replace that thought, look at this. Now things are falling apart. When we replace that thought, how do we replace it? What do we replace it with? I need a better whiteboard, huh? Okay. In air, we said we replace the thought 180 degrees, so I can't becomes I can. So in this example, I can. We redraw the T. I can do it. Just because I failed at it doesn't mean I'm going to fail at it again. The past is not indicative of the future. So because I attempted something in the past and I failed at it doesn't mean that when I attempt it now, I'm going to fail at it again. Because in the past, when I failed at it, I learned something. And now I'm going to make micro adjustments. Right? So, what are the facts that say I can do it? The facts are I have experience. I now have some experience. Right? Another fact can be I can move more slowly. I can make adjustments. I can do it slightly different, right? So I can do it different. I can do it slightly different, right? I can make adjustments. I can seek out counsel. See, these are all ways that I can become accomplished in what I want to do. These are all ways that I can achieve what I previously failed at. So when you start thinking about this, that you can do the thing that you want to do, and that you already have experience, that you can pivot and do it slightly different, I can make those adjustments, I can seek out counsel, I can gain proximity. How does that make you feel? Hopeful? Happy? Excited? Determined? Now, again, you ask yourself the same question. How is this making you feel? It's making me feel the way I want to feel. It's making me feel like I can achieve this. And it's very possible. Now, is that thought that you can do it based on these facts, is that making you feel good? Is that thought now serving you? Let's get to the meat and potatoes. I took up the hobby of wood turning, right? And in wood turning, one of the things you make are pens, like physical pens. I'll show you a pen in a second, but you make a physical pen. These are all, like, look at this. Look, watch. Those are all failed attempts. A pen is two pieces. It's two pieces. And this pen is absolutely gorgeous. This is a piece of willow. This pen's absolutely gorgeous. And if you looked at this, you'd think, oh, you're an accomplished wood turner. No, I'm not. Look at all the trials I had to go through. Look at all the blanks that chipped, right? Because I didn't drill it out properly, or I didn't glue it up properly. I didn't drill it properly. All of that happens. And if you think that the past, if you concentrate on that, I can't do it because I did it in the past and I failed, and you don't give it another shot, and you don't take the pivot, and you don't go out and ask people, I see that you've turned pens. What are you doing differently than what I'm doing? Right? There's always a way around it. There's always a way to achievement. Sometimes you just have to ask a different question. Einstein says it best. He says, and don't quote me on this, he makes reference to you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created the problem. It's the same thing. I can't turn the pen the same way, and I got chips. I have to adjust how I'm turning the wood to create the pen. It's the same thing. So you can apply this triple F method to anything you do. Any thought that you have, and you can apply it to any thought that you have. And you run through the process. You know what? I do have experience now. I have experience because I know that this didn't work. Thomas Edison, 10,000 filaments he went through before he found the filament that worked, and now we have light bulbs. Imagine if he gave up because I tried to make a filament and it didn't work and I just failed. Imagine if that was the end of it. Imagine if Henry Ford didn't create the 8-cylinder engine. He put engineers in a room and he said, create the 8-cylinder engine, and they came back and said, no, it's not going to work. We tried, we failed, we tried, we failed, we tried, we failed. That went on for months. So just evaluate and start paying attention to the thoughts that you're having. Because when I did that, when I started paying attention to the thoughts that I was having, and I started paying attention to the thoughts that were serving me and the thoughts that weren't serving me, and I started eliminating those thoughts that weren't serving me, and I started replacing them with the thoughts that were serving me, all sorts of opportunities opened up for me. And that's why I am kind of walking you through this step by step. This is how you physically, people say, how do you change your thoughts? This is how you do it. You start paying attention to the thoughts that you're having, and then you run it through this system. And then you start doing it automatically. In air, we spoke about 50% of our day is spent in autopilot. That's a Harvard study. 50%, nearly 50%. I think it's like 47 or 49% to be exact. But we're spending so much time in autopilot that we're just kind of like drifting down the lazy river. We're not intentional in anything. This is how we start becoming intentional. This is how we start looking at things through a different lens. Next, we're going to be talking about, this is amazing. I got a mess here now on my desk. I don't even know where I put my marker. Next, we're going to be talking about PF. What's that stand for? This is extremely powerful. Once I learned this, I was like, wow, like literally you could see the smoke coming out of the explosion that happened in my mind. That stands for past, present, and future. What do those three things have in common, and how do they play off of each other? That's what we're going to be discussing next. That next session is actually tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, 8 a.m. I'm going to be doing an early session tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., explaining PPF, past, present, and future. Guys, we always live in the top, in the results, because it's results over excuses. Until I see you next time, be unstoppable! I love you guys. Go out there and crush it today. Have a great day.